and gentlemen, welcome back to Split, Croatia for the Rugby Europe 7 Championship 2026. It's day 2 here, and we've seen the end of the pool phase this morning, and in this afternoon session we will progress with quarter-finals as well as the ranking semi-finals. Weather conditions are hotting up, we're reaching the higher 20s. It's almost perfect conditions for sevens rugby. The wind has picked up very slightly, but I don't think that should have much effect on play. The pitch has been watered and some of the divots replaced, so it's looking in good condition once more. And we're ready to rock and roll in the business end of the competition. We will be starting with the women's tournament and then moving into the men's tournament in the second block, and it'll be Czechia against Turkey in the quarter-final for 9th to 12th. Quarter-final 9th to 12th number 2 is Denmark-Sweden, and then we'll progress with the cup quarter-finals and some cracking matchups there. Ireland, Portugal, Poland, Belgium, Spain, Great Britain and France, Germany to round off the women's action on day 2. In the second block of action we will then be returning to the men's tournament in the same format, where we also have just as exciting fixtures for you all back home. We'll be kicking off in just over 7 minutes time. And it'll be, as I said, Czechia against Turkey. Turkey finishing 4th in their group. That was Group A. And Czechia also in Group A, in Pool A. And they were 3rd. Unfortunately, they were the worst of the 3rd place teams, to put it bluntly. And that is why they will not be playing in the cup competition this weekend. Now, Turkey obviously having to battle to avoid relegation after their finish in Hamburg, where they finished 12th. Sweden in a similar situation, battling to get out of that relegation zone. They're in 11, and we'll see them face off against their Scandinavian counterparts, Denmark, who, even though they were the newly promoted team, they finished 9th in Hamburg. So a lot of action for you coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 2 minutes' time to talk you into the first of these quarter-finals for 9th to 12th place. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So if you're just logging in to watch the rest of the action here in Split, let me go through the order of events once more. We will be starting with the ranking quarterfinals featuring Czechia, Turkey, and then a Scandinavian head-off between Denmark and Sweden. After which we will progress to the cup quarterfinals of the women's competition to round off the third block of the day. That'll be the end of the women's action then for day 2, and the same format will be repeated then for the men's competition in the fourth and final block of the day. It's heating up here. We're enjoying the Croatian sun. It's almost perfect conditions for sevens rugby. A light breeze cooling us all down, and roughly 28 degrees temperature. A beautiful playing field. A couple of brown patches, but don't let that put you off. That's just where we've replaced some divots and spread some soil. The pitch has been watered. It's in great nick. And we're just about ready to get things underway here. Kicking off in a couple of minutes' time, it will be Czechia against Turkey. Turkey trying to avoid relegation zone after they finished last in Hamburg. So they've got a real battle on their hands to get out of that relegation zone, as I said. Czechia had a fairly good tournament in Hamburg. They finished 7th. They won't be able to emulate that result this weekend, as they have a maximum position of 9th available now. But they are not so concerned about relegation at this point. They will, however, be looking to secure that 9th place for pride, if nothing more. All that coming up in just over a minute's time. I'll be joined then in just a couple of moments by Andy Knight, our resident expert, as I've called him a few times. He's a man with great experience. Played a lot of sevens rugby in his life with some big names, some stars of years gone by. And he'll be sharing his wisdom and knowledge of the game with all of you back home, as we see the Turkey women around their mascot, a rather exciting unicorn. That's the Czechia squad on screen for you there. Some real stars, Gartnerova and the likes. Will be disappointed to be playing for 9th place after a better tournament in Hamburg. But they're off now and they're kicking it short and contestable for Turkey. And Turkey do have the first scrum of the game. Andy is just taking his place next to me now. Andy, what are your thoughts on this afternoon session?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, and obviously both teams haven't played to their full potential here, as they would have liked to anyway. It's going to be a tough afternoon, I think, for Turkey, knowing that they're already in that bottom slot there, which is not great. But as we say that, they're not showing that. They want to be pushing themselves up there, and I think that's Bolat, is it?
It is indeed, Andy. It's that star woman of the Turkish team.
Yeah, nice little break there just as I come on. We gave a commentator's curse to Czechia there, maybe. But great speed from Bolat to go into the field almost for the first try for Turkey.
Yeah, maybe that's an added motivation, knowing that they might drop down into the trophy series for another year if they don't get their act together here, and Bolat really taking matters into her own hands and tearing off down the park. A good attempt at the conversion from Dilmac, but not quite enough on this occasion, so it'll be a 5-point lead for Turkey. And that's exactly what they needed. That's the start they wanted. The kick once more is not quite as contestable, but it finds grass. Czechia misjudged it slightly, and the pressure comes on from Turkey. Dilmac looking for the Jacko, unable to get the lift on that ball. But the pressure comes on, and they're working hard to get the Czechia attack into a difficult corner. Czechia building from deep. Moving the ball now to the wide left. And coming under great pressure, that's Aylin of Turkey. Putting in the initial hit and being supported by her teammate. Good little basketball style pass over the head there. It did go forward though. So Turkey with a scrum deep in the 22 of Czechia. And they will look to capitalise on the errors of this Czechia attack and make this great start a perfect start.
Yeah, great position to launch an attack from here. Fesley with the put in there. Plenty of speed out wide there if they can get the ball released to them. They're very flat though. However, a little stutter step and good strength from the Czechia defence there as we see them trying to turn over that ball. However, this should be a Czechia penalty.
Oh, and that's a silly mistake from Bolat. Oh, I thought she was going to be given another 10 metres, but she wasn't. Okay, fair play. Bolat just thinking the penalty was going her way, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a tough call. I think a strong call from the referee that saying that Czechia did come in from the back foot. I think the Turkish team thought that she had come in from the side there. It was hands on, but on this occasion, Czechia ball, good position to split the field and see if they can make their own attack from their own 22 right the way down to the Turkish end.
Back to the action from this scrum. Czechia looking to break from deep. Not finding much space there, but they'll build, they'll go through the phases, they'll be patient. There's a gap opened up there. If they can straighten and accelerate, they'll match covering well in the end. Croatia almost up to the 20. Czechia almost up to the 22. And they're out now. Charging to space. Alagos with the tackle, with the pressure. And that ball being spilled, but going backwards and bouncing kindly. Good tackle in the middle of the field. Czechia working hard. Almost up to the halfway line now. Unable to find space, but binding in lots of Turkish players. They're grouped around this ball, around this breakdown, so there must be space somewhere if Czechia can move it. And that's exactly what they do. They find the outside edge and streaking through Rigatova. And she'll level things up for Czechia.
Yeah, good handling there from the Czechia team. We saw on the outside break there. It was Skalova going there, just creating that space for Rigatova to go through. Looked as if it could have been a forward pass, but managed to just release her hands backwards, put it into the palms of Rigatova. She went over for a score, and the 2 points conversion has also been made to make it 7-0 Czechia. Sorry, 7-5 to Czechia.
Yeah, conversion is good. Czechia kicking off. That doesn't look to quite have gone the 10 metres. It was an almost perfectly judged kick, but almost isn't enough. Turkey will have the ball in the middle of the park for a tap and an opportunity to build an attack that might regain the lead.
Yeah, we were talking earlier in the commentary about the kickoffs and how they've been really good up to this point. Unfortunately, on that occasion, Slakova there just couldn't get the height on the ball. Not what they were looking for, and that gives Turkey a perfect opportunity to launch from halfway as they receive a penalty into the Czechia half and look to slow it down again and just reset themselves, slowly make their way up the field, and are taking the scrum by the looks of things.
Indeed they are. It's a strong platform to launch an attack. And Czechia lining up defensively with one defender behind the scrum. and the other two on the left hand side, so there's space here. The pressure comes on from the scrum half, but the ball wasn't out. That was a little bit early. Turkey with the penalty, and the players all bunched together on the same half of the pitch, so Bolat tries to run the big curve round the outside, getting close to the touchline, and bundled out. Not quite straightening up early enough on that occasion, Andy. What do you think of that?
Yeah, looking at the size of her coming up against this Czechia team, she's not going to power her way over, and I think she saw that, tried to force herself down to the ground, but unfortunately the strength behind these Czechia women meant that they just picked her up and threw her out like a rag doll. And that takes us into half time as we hear the DJs playing a little bit more music. Not quite as good as the Gypsy Kings that we heard earlier on, who were doing their sound check just to get ready for the big event for tonight after this tournament. But the DJ there again, a little bit of sounds, trying to get this crowd riled up a little bit, get a bit of noise in, which will hopefully gee up the players a little bit and give us some good rugby to look forward to.
So we are experiencing some technical difficulties with the clock. We will be fixing that for the second half. We're aware of it. And our production team is working overtime to make sure everything works out just fine. Here we see that opening try from Bolat and Rigatova levelling things up before the successful conversion gave Czechia the narrowest of leads by 2 points as we look forward to the second half of rugby here in Split, Croatia, the old Roman town.
In case you didn't know, Ian has just cracked a deal with TUI, so there'll be some flights coming out here. He can get you a cheap deal if you want. The travel agent sat next to me. Loves this town, quite right as well. It's a beautiful little town, but for us just now there's some beautiful rugby to watch as Turkey will get this second half underway through Fezli. Hopefully a nice high kick with a good chase.
And that's exactly what we get. It's a high kick up to the 22, and it is a good chase. Eileen's there on hand, and she's going for the jackal. It looks to be a good effort to me, but not being rewarded. No clear release is the call, so she must have been judged to be the assistant tackler and just not have let go there. It's a tight call, but the discipline from Turkey to retreat 10 metres instantly was good. And Czechia play. Looking to the left hand side, there's a bit of space there. Oh, that pass should maybe have been given. Rigatova cuts back on the inside, and they caught up in the contact. Little ball over the head. Manages to save the day as she was held up. Czechia spreading the ball now in the width, and just an unforced error from probably the most experienced woman in the team, that's Sladkova. She's been a nuisance in the 7 series for a few years, or many a year now, but on that occasion just taking her eye off the ball. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, she'll be frustrated with that after Czechia just getting the ball back from the kickoff there and managing to move the ball into some spaces. However, just took her eye off the ball for a moment, and that was long enough to just let it hit her hands, and unfortunately a little knock on, giving Turkey the ball in a fantastic position under the post here, 22 metres out. Great defence there from Bolfova there at the base of the scrum, but Turkey managed to keep hold of the ball, reset, ready to go again.
Yeah, and they look to build here. It's still a very good opportunity from Turkey, but absolutely right there, the pressure really coming on straight from the back of that scrum. Czechia working hard to defend their lines. Looking for the jackal, but there's 2 Czechia players lying on the wrong side of that breakdown, so no jackal will be rewarded. And another penalty. They're knocked back 10 metres, and Czechia running the risk of picking up a yellow card here as Turkey signal that they want the scrum. They're up for this challenge.
Yeah, Czechia in danger there. I think the next penalty, if there's one given away here, will be a yellow card, but Turkey with a tap and go. Fesley just moving it out wide, but great defence again from Czechia. Oh, and she's ripped the ball off. Has she got the speed to go the whole way and outrun Bolat?
Yeah, it's the two try scorers up in the race here. It was Bolat and Rigatova in a straight foot race, and Bolat has showed that she's the quicker of the two players. Czechia with a lot of space here out on the left hand side. This is Sladkova. Dilmach covering her well, as does Alagoz. And it's a penalty to Turkey, so they scrambled really well there just as Czechia looked to have the advantage.
Yeah, exactly. That was a good scramble defence there. The Turkey getting back to make the tackle. As we see a player down for Turkey on the far side there.
Yeah, that was Bolat after that sprint back. I thought she might have hurt herself, but I think she was just sucking in the air, trying to fill up the lungs again. She's put in a few big sprints already. And these women have had a lot of meters under the belts already. Turkey into the midfield, and they employ their kick as they so often do. Dilmach will run behind that, and she knows she's probably got the pace in this one. Sladkova unable to gather the bouncing ball, so that was good territorial gain for Turkey. And they're rewarded with another penalty. Czechia really running the risk of conceding a yellow card at some point as Bolat runs towards the line. Ball bobbling on the ground. They all got a bit messy there, pinball style, and it is Sladkova that comes away with the ball. So Czechia now with a good position to extend the lead on the attempted intercept. She went for it with two hands, so it definitely won't be a penalty, but just out of the ball not sticking.
Yeah, she was a bit unfortunate there. I thought the intercept was on, but that was very much changes of directions of play there, all in the space of 2 minutes, as we see one of the players down on the far side. I think it's a Turkish player. There's two of them down, actually. There's a bit of hard work from both teams chasing their own kicks and at the same time working back in defence, trying to get back with a whole group of 7 players behind. And Turkey on the worst side of the injuries at the moment with 2 players looking like they're down. One's just got up and the other one's still, I think it's Bolat there, still on the ground.
Yeah, and we're seeing the first change for Turkey as well. Dilmach leaves the field, and on comes number 9, Karaman Germek. So Turkey with some fresh legs on the park, and Bolat, after getting some medical attention, is back up on her feet and returning to position, this time on the wing, not the centre. So after Dilmach leaves the field, obviously they're restructuring slightly there. They know exactly what to do in these situations. They've got their plans. That scrum not really steady. So Czechia able to streak away here, and it's a foot race. Alagoz getting back very well for Turkey. Oh, and her hard work in a backwards direction being rewarded. Turkey avoid conceding another try on that occasion. Great work off the ball.
Yeah, great work from Alagoz there just to get back there and chase Bolfova, who'd had a great little break. However, just after she got tackled, she went to release the ball and just knocked it on very slightly, with the referee, Adele Robert, just saying that there was a small knock-on, much as Czechia didn't believe it. I think it's the right call, and great chase back though from Turkey as they now get the ball in their own 22 with a chance to attack.
And the scrum fed from the right hand side, so that gives them a bit of space in the left. But unable to use the space in this occasion, the Czechia defence holds strong. Alagoz looking for the outside channel, again going very close to that touchline. They'll need to watch out. This is the last place on the park that you want to be pushed into touch, and they kick through once more. There's space there for the grubber, but Sladkova once more chases back and is the first to the ball. She even gets the offload off. Ruxin just takes it in, and it's a penalty this time for Czechia, so they've weathered a bit of a storm, and there might have been some afters from Turkey, maybe letting out a comment there because the referee all of a sudden dived to her pocket and pulled out the yellow card. Turkey will be down a player for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's for her throwing the ball away, although it was thrown to the ground, it did go backwards, but it wasn't the right thing to do there. Alagos, I think it is, it's having a little seat for a few moments. But yeah, Fesley there on her break, she put a little chip and chase through, her little grubber, however just didn't have the pace of Sladkova, who managed to scoop the ball up and then turn defence into attack and get the pass away, as you said in the commentary there, Ian. Got the way to her fellow players, and well played by them, and eventually Czechia getting the penalty, which they've opted for the scrum with an extra player.
Yeah, and Dilmach has returned to the proceedings, so she must be fresh again, and that is Dilmach making the tackle, but the offload sits and Czechia scamper in to extend their lead through Aneska Marta Sladkova, the experienced finisher from Czechia.
Yeah, too much power and pace there. We saw Dilmach, as you say, just come back onto the field trying to make the tackle, but the pass was given away and Czechia under the post for a score, and it looks like the conversion is good as we go into half time. 14 points to 5.
Yeah, that was a breathtaking first half of rugby, end to end kind of stuff. Some pinball moments, some chaos in between, and at the end it is Czechia who capitalise and take advantage of the opportunities. They lead 14 points to 5 at the end of the 14 minutes. So Czechia will progress, and unfortunately for Turkey, that does mean they'll be playing for 11th, 12th rather than 9th, 10th, and with that, the inevitable, as far as I'm aware, the inevitable decision that they will now be relegated back into the trophy for the coming season. Big moments decided by fine margins. A game that could have gone any way seals the fate for Turkey. But we look forward now to the next fixture already. There's no rest for the wicked. I've said that one before. Andy is very wicked indeed. And it'll be a Scandinavian classic with Denmark, the newly promoted team, who finished 9th in Hamburg, facing up with Sweden, who are also in that relegation position of 11th in the total standings after Hamburg. So it'll take a big performance from Sweden to turn things around, and Andy and me both had the opportunity to chat to some of the Swedish athletes in that extended break, and they were just talking about the review that they'd had, and they were not happy with how things were going, but they'd analysed it, they'd scrutinised it to a great detail, and they feel they know what needs to be done in this fixture. There we see the Danish team, the newly promoted team, coached by Nina Strom. And the Swedish team here, the sisters, Wikström, very effective, but they have quality throughout the team. The players are just collecting in the tunnel, and now they do take to the field. Denmark in their white kit, which we haven't seen all that much of, and Sweden in their very slick dark blue with yellow armbands and numbers. The game will be refereed by Mary Pringle, representing the Scottish Rugby Union, an experienced young woman taking charge of this, especially for Sweden, crucial fixture. Sweden trying to avoid relegation, and Denmark looking to hold on to that 9th place that they got in Hamburg. And we're off. Sweden kicking. And Denmark with the early possession. They'd be well advised just to look after the ball here as the pressure comes on from the Swedish defence, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're rewarded by a penalty.
Generally, how's split been for you in the whole campaign?
Rewarded with a penalty, rather.
Oh, it's been all credit to Turkey. They came out fighting. They're a really, really tough opposition. They're really feisty in the contact areas, and they're pretty fast as well. So, no, I think we had to dig deep to win that second one, and twice in one day. Yeah, that's quite something.
Yeah, Hamburg was tough for you as well. Now, I think you didn't see yourself battling down in the bottom half of the table, but now tomorrow you've got a 9th place final.
Yeah, all focus is on tomorrow. Yeah, Hamburg was a little bit tough. We've got a very young squad here, so it's a great experience for some of those younger girls coming through, getting to play their first Euros. And yeah, all eyes on tomorrow. We've got a job to do to finish as high as we can. So that's our focus now.
Well, then go and recover well. We'll see who you've got tomorrow. No, all the best.
Indeed. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Okay, and back to the action. We see Denmark still with possession, so Sweden struggling to get their hands on the ball, but Denmark equally struggling to make any territorial advances against a strong Swedish defence. Denmark see that gap as the Swedish defence rushes up, and that's well capitalised on. A big fend coming in with a textbook tackle. That was Wikström with the tackle, and now Denmark do have some forward momentum though, and dummying once and passing in the depth. The offload just going slightly loose. And that has cost Denmark possession that they'd done so well to look after. Sweden with their first opportunity of the fixture. Maja Müller with a beautiful long deep pass. And once again in the width. Wikström, we know how quick she is. It steps inside. And that's her sister making the next pass. Back to the left hand side, so wide from Sweden. Again, not really progressing up the park, but they're looking after possession well here. Trying to find an opportunity. Little scissor snapback play. And the Danish defence looks very calm, very collected. They're not rushing. Making sure they stay connected, keeping their spacing right and progressing just slowly up the park and pressurising the Swedish attack. Wikström beating one and offloading in the next challenge before they ship the ball wide, and now they do make some meters. A solid tackle, halting the attack, but Sweden progressing nicely up the park now, controlling possession. Just over 3 minutes played in this first half. Maja Müller challenging Giesing. It's a high tackle, that'll be a penalty, and Maja Müller doing very well there just to take the game up to the Danes.
Yeah, that's for me that's what Sweden need to do, is get a bit of go forward, because at the moment the passes are all great, they're out in front, but unfortunately they're in front and not running onto them in front. We need to see them really moving forward a little bit. There was 3 passages of play there where I don't think they went 10 metres in about 20 passes, and on that occasion Maja Müller threw the dummy and then went herself on the outside, and all of a sudden they gained an extra 10 metres before the slightly high tackle came in. So I'd like to see them running onto the ball, put a bit of pace in it, because they're making it quite easy for the defence of Denmark.
And a good line out there from Sweden. They distribute the ball nicely and they have some forward momentum. A dummy scissors and the bounce pass works well, and they find some space on the outside, offloading back in field and supporting well here. And once more they play deep, wide passes, and Maya Müller does exactly what she did before. Dummies and goes herself. Unfortunately, she drops the ball forward. As do Denmark as they pick it up, so it will be a scrum now. Denmark ball, the first knock-on coming from Sweden.
Yes, Sweden just running out of some ideas there. I think Maya Müller feels that she needs to take it on herself there a little bit more, and is maybe not getting the support from her teammates that she would like. They're a bit anxious at the moment, and they need to have all their team running those angles and putting some speed on the ball. Either that or Denmark are going to really put the pressure on those players and start to play in the better rugby.
And Halbeck it was who took the ball to the line and then gave the pass. And a big counter-ruck coming in from Sweden here. But Denmark win the penalty as Sweden can't resist the temptation of just handling the ball on the ground. They felt they had a good counter-ruck in there, but that doesn't give you the right to break the rules.
A good old phrase, like a kid in a sweetie shop, just trying to see the sweets were there and went to pick them without thinking about the consequences of paying for them. But on that occasion, Denmark definitely deserved that. It was a good movement to get out wide. They had the support players there. However, the counter-ruck came in, but just they didn't continue through with the counter-ruck. If they continued through, the ball could have been just there legally. But instead, Denmark opt for the scrum, get the ball away from the contact area.
Yeah, and with just half a minute left to play in this first half, it is a Scandinavian stalemate. Denmark will look to launch a few final attacks here and maybe break that deadlock before the half-time. A strong handoff and a good leg drive, and they're powering towards the line. That is the break that they wanted. It's Augustino, the Olympic gymnast, changing codes, playing rugby now, and doing so very effectively. Denmark take the lead just before half-time.
Yeah, lovely break on the outside there. Augustino just showing her power, upper body strength there to hand off the Danish defence, and then showing the leg strength and the pace that she's got to carry it on to be almost underneath the post to make life a little bit easier for Elmbach with the kick. As we see her taking it, unfortunately just drifts wide of the post. So into half time, 5-0 Denmark against Sweden.
What do you make of the way that both the teams are playing here? I mean, we saw a bit of a stalemate. Both teams enjoying a lot of possession, but not really progressing in the terms of territory. Andy, what's that all about?
Yeah, they both seem quite anxious. I'm sure neither of them want to lose. They're local rivals, as it were, in terms of countries. They're just a bit tetchy. They're not quite wanting to commit at the moment. It feels that they can't commit. They can't quite get everyone on board with the same structures. I mean, at the moment there, Denmark obviously taking the lead with that last move. It was just individual brilliance there rather than a massive team effort, but it also came from a mistake by Sweden on the far side where they tried to pick the ball up illegally. So yeah, both teams they're just having a go, but they're not really fully committing, in my opinion, at the moment.
It's interesting what you said about neither team wanting to lose it. I always felt that was a very dangerous kind of mentality to have, to try and not lose games. It's normally the team that really goes out there to win it that is rewarded at the end of the 14 minutes, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm sure that's not the mentality they've gone in with. As I say, that's just the feeling you get from watching the game. I'm sure that both teams are going out there to try and put points on, score as many tries as they can, and rather than sit back and hope that someone makes a mistake. So as we go into the second half, I hope to see a lot more attacking flair from both teams, a little bit of depth and running onto the ball from the Swedish team, and the same from the Danish team as well, because at the moment you've got that one player, Augustino, who seems to be making a difference. She's got the power, but the others, your Giesings, haven't really had the ball yet there, and we haven't seen the power of Elmbach as well. Both have scored a reasonable amount of tries as we go into the second half, with the first kickoff coming from Elmbach.
Yeah, and it's do or die now for Sweden. They've got 7 minutes, and if the game stays like this, they will be relegated, so they've got everything to fight for now. And Sweden look to find some width, and they do attack now, and getting a big fend in on Giesing. Getting very close to the touchline there and doing well just to stay in field. Sweden come once more. There's a hard run there, good line. Almost dropping the ball, but regaining well and releasing on the ground and picking again. So Sweden progressing now slightly more effectively. I don't know what they've been told at half time, but this is looking much more impressive here. Penalty for Sweden. Wikström just looks up at their backs and sees no one's ready to play, so let's slow things down, not get ahead of ourselves, and keep control of this game.
Yeah, Hammerberger's just on the ground there. I think they did slow it down, waiting to make sure she was up. No point in attacking with 6 players when you definitely need to win this game. So let's wait till they've got the full complement back and make sure that they've got the opportunities of the 7-player attack to get that win that they really do need to stay up.
Just about ready to play on now. The water carriers are being sent from the field, as are the physios. And Sweden choose to kick, looking for more territory, which is what they really struggled to find in the first half. So a good decision, but not the best of execution, as Elmbach catches the ball, runs laterally initially and feeds the rest of her teammates, inviting them to run forward. Denmark up to the 10-metre line now, and again looking to confront the Swedish defence, and they were more than up to the challenge on that occasion.
Yeah, there's a good response there from Sweden. You know, the power. I think it was Agostino that was trying to go down that tight side. She was not getting through. I think Sweden said, not on my watch here, you're not getting through again. So good defence as they put her into touch and managed to get themselves a line out on the halfway line.
Again, a good line out for Sweden. The ball did find grass, but they recovered well, and a big arching run now, and the scissors play on the outside. That was creating some space. That's good attacking play, and Sweden all the way up to the 22 now of Denmark. They've not really gotten in there this fixture. So this is real progress now. On a good strong run from Utterbom. Once more, Sweden looking strong. That was Siri Jakobsen with a big carry, and they're out to the wing now through Maja Müller. The whole team lined up to the left-hand side, so that's where they go. The Danish defence just approaching cautiously, keeping connected. And that's a good tackle from Halbech. Wrapping up the ball and preventing the offload. So Sweden recycle, and Itterbom with a wide pass, and they look to attack the right-hand side. Müller. Sweden doing well to look after the ball, but once more struggling for territorial gain. The Danish defence just staying connected and working hard for each other. That was knocked on in the tackle. In fact, it's been adjudged to be a deliberate knock-on. She stuck out one hand, maybe just a reaction, maybe a natural reaction, but she'll take 2 minutes on the sidelines.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't a deliberate knock-on there, but it's still off your one hand, and in Rugby Sevens you cannot do that. That's just almost every time it's an automatic yellow card there if you stick that one hand out. But going back to the way Sweden are playing, you know, they've retreated 10, 20 metres and haven't really gone anywhere. They can't quite get through this defence of Denmark. Now they've got that extra player. I hope that they can do it. I hope they can hit at speed. They've got the options on both sides here with the extra player, and we should be able to see some sort of good attacking play coming.
Yeah, and Denmark have fresh legs on the field now, with Kregerlund and Jensen taking to the field. It's a forward and the scrum half that have been replaced, so Off we go now. Sweden moving the ball. Coughing it up in the midfield though. And that gives Denmark the opportunity to run down the clock a little bit as they have one player less in the pitch. Augustino is not interested in running down clock. She's interested in scoring tries, and now she's doing her very best to create something.
Yeah, good defence there from Wikström. Cecilia Wikström, and forcing Denmark to go back to the other side. That's a hard tackle. That's good work in there. Can't quite steal the ball. Jakobsen trying to get in, but hands cannot be there as we see the ball moving out to Giesing again. Denmark running this clock down, this 2-minute clock down, moving it into the wide channels. Potentially seeing a gap there as we see Halbeck going through, but being dragged down. Looks to be some hands in the ruck. I think she's perfectly legal. She was the first player there.
Yeah, she was the first player there, so she has every right to go for that ball, but it does still come back on the Danish side. Giesing, Augustino, we know what she's going to do. Big fend and go for the outside.
A good defence from Wikström again. Did she make it back onside? Referee says yes, play on.
All getting a little bit chaotic down there, but Sweden do come away with the ball, and they might be able to thrive in that situation as they find space in the wide right. This is the opportunity they've been needing, and the step inside is good, tearing away, levelling things up for Sweden against the Danish team with only 6 players in the park. It's Isabel Wikström. We've seen her score already today, and she does it again. That's really important for Sweden. Maybe they can avoid relegation into the trophy series.
Yeah, this is a very, very important kick, and I think it's Jakobsen here who's the kicker. She needs to take her time, concentrate, and make sure this goes between the sticks to give them the opportunity to stay up in the championship for next season. And the kick is good, so Sweden 7 points to 5 up. 30 seconds left on the clock. We're going to see Denmark back up to 7 players. This is going to be a very exciting end to the game. Sweden need to be on point here. They need to be making sure their tackles go in, working as a team, try and get their hands on that ball and get that ball out the park as quickly as they can.
Yeah, exactly. And if they're smart, they might just kick a low kick towards the touchline here. The clock wasn't quite in the red, so that was a good option. Now the clock is in the red as the hooter sounds. Denmark will need to keep ball and move up that pitch very quickly. Giesing trying to take matters into her own hands with a good powerful surge. And they attack the blind side. There's space here. Stay away from that touchline. They do. Halbeck with a big fend and another. And they recycle well. The space on the left-hand side, if they can move it quickly. They do. Giesing lacking a bit of momentum forwards. Augustino, similar to Halbeck on this side, just puts in a big fend, and she gets too close to the touchline, and that's a huge moment for Sweden as they barrel her out over the into touch and win the game. They'll play for 9th place, and with that they may just have saved their championship hopes. All still to be played for. If they'd lost, we'd have known they would be relegated, but just because they've won, it doesn't mean they'll stay. It all depends on the other results here in Split.
Yeah, Sweden there, some good defence. I was watching Jakobsen there. She went out to the outside channel to be the guardian, shall we say, of Augustino, because she's a danger woman, and on that occasion made the tackle, and with that she managed to force Denmark into touch, and that's the clock going into the red. So good work, Sweden. 7-5 win, as you said. They've given themselves another chance to stay up here in the championship.
Yeah, and we've seen them develop over the years, so it would be a crying shame to see them getting relegated, but someone has to be, and no one wants to be. Sport is not always fair. Looking forward, This is the first of the Cup quarter-finals. Coming up for you now, Ireland against Portugal. Ireland topping Group A, Portugal topping Group B. This will be a cracking fixture. And the Irish, after they beat France, I'll be very careful about how I say this, but did they dominate France, Andy?
Yeah, that's a good way. It's a difficult one to say that, but they were well on top, I would say. I felt that they were the stronger defensive team. They snuffed out any attacks from France. France couldn't find a way through. And then Ireland, when they got the opportunities, they attacked really well and found the gaps in the French defence. And I think they stunned the French, to be quite honest, because France are not used to being dominated, is a good word, but they're not used to it. So, yeah, well played to Ireland in that game, but now they're in the quarterfinals. They've got to do the same again for the next 3 games if they want to win this tournament.
Absolutely, they will. You don't win a tournament based on one good result. But what I am alluding to, Andy, is that I think this Irish team are my new favourites for the title. You heard it here first. Yeah, we see this Portuguese squad. Captain Ria Costa, very influential as ever, as is Adelina da Costa. She's not had quite as much joy this weekend as she did in Hamburg, but she's a threat. She's a fast, explosive woman with a great jackal.
Emma, what a nail-biting finish. I heard do or die a lot. Kept your hopes alive there.
Yeah, I mean, do or die was kind of our mindset the whole game. This was a win it or make it or break it match for us, and we made it.
Well done. Tomorrow you're going to have Czechia. Maya, can you do it?
Absolutely. I think we just show that if we believe it enough, which I think we do, and really show that we can beat any team. I think we showed glimpses of that in Hamburg as well. Just couldn't quite show that yesterday, but yeah, we picked ourselves up and got the revenge.
Well done, you two. Go get some rest and all the best for tomorrow, yeah?
Thank you. Oh, fucking hell.
And Ireland kick off this quarter-final, this Cup quarter-final against Portugal. Both teams topping their groups and looking impressive on the way. This is anyone's game, and Portugal have the early possession. Oh, a good strong tackle coming in there. And Portugal keeping it tight, not forcing anything. We've seen them do this before. And Ireland just shepherd them into touch, and they'll have an opportunity from the line out on the 22 of Portugal. And we've been doing some maths here, and we found out that it's still the possibility that Sweden and Denmark can finish with the same number of points, and then we'll be looking at who scored most tries over both legs. But back to the action here in the Cup. Neither of these teams are at risk of being relegated. They're looking to win things. They're looking at the possibility of medals and podium finishes, and Ireland were taking the initiative in the early phases of the game. That is try number 1 for them. 5 points to 0. Ireland off to a good start after 1.5 minutes of play in the first Cup quarter-final.
Yeah, Ireland have had all the possession there. They're just up in the Portuguese half, and that pressure just started to tell towards the end as they managed to power themselves over for a 5-pointer, with 2 points being added to make it 7-0 to Ireland. Emily Lane being the try scorer on that occasion.
So, and Ireland get us back underway here. Things going well for them. The kick finds grass and bounces into touch. Portugal have the line out. The Irish line out is very good, so maybe not a bad outcome for them at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a tactic of theirs, but Claire Gorman with the kick there, just as you say, found the grass, got their way out, and as we see, the overthrow means that Ireland can sweep it up, clear it up, and get another attacking opportunity.
Yeah, Faith Obiawa pouncing on the loose ball, and Ireland away here on the right-hand side, stretching the legs and putting in little fends and making good meters. The pressure coming on, though, from the Portuguese defence, and they're there in numbers, but so are Ireland, reacting very well to the threat as they distribute the ball to the wide left, and a beautiful right-hand pass out to Faith Obiawa. Effective work in the breakdown as well by the support players, so Ireland in full control of this, moving the ball nicely, Andy.
Yeah, they've got control of this. Their passes are excellent out in front. They've got numbers at the breakdown. They've got support players there just clearing out, making sure Portugal can't get any hands on it. Just being patient. Passes are accurate so far, as we just see a slightly loose one going, but there was an infringement way back at the ruck where the Portuguese around the ruck just got themselves offside there. So Ireland will get the opportunity for a little tap penalty or a scrum, and they opt for the scrum on this occasion, opening up a short 15 metre side nearest us and a big wide open side to the left that can be exploited.
Four minutes played in the first half. Ireland in a strong position. It can all change very quickly. It's the scrum halves engaging a little bit of hanky-panky, as they like to do. Ireland come away with the next attack. A little wrap around, not running that smoothly on this occasion, but the ball is still alive and in space. That's Alana Fitzpatrick charging down the left-hand side. Oh, and again, once more, the Irish just almost getting in each other's way, but they were playing with advantage. And they do barrel over the line. It was the number 8, Megan Burns, dotting down.
Yeah, just too much pressure on there from Ireland on the Portuguese defence, but Portugal need to be a little bit careful here. It's a couple of penalties they've given away. Might just be in the referee's mind there. If there's too many penalties given away here, there could be cards put out there, but on this occasion, Ireland not worried about cards. They just want to get the ball in hand because they feel they can score tries, and looking at the way they're passing, the way they're moving this ball, I think they can score tries as well. And down the left side there, we saw Fitzpatrick showing what pace she had. Emily Lane earlier with the power. So lots of options there for Ireland, as we see a few running repairs just going on from the physios for Ireland, just to make sure everyone's back up to speed as Claire Gorman gets herself ready for this next kickoff. Nice high one, maybe not quite as high as she wanted. Collected by Portugal, moving it away from the contact area. Good support there, as we see them moving it into the 15 metres channel. Great rip there, ball ripped away by Emily Lane, given the opportunity for the little chip and chase by Elms Kinlan, sorry. But Portugal managing to snuffle out that attack.
Yeah, good work there from the defence, forcing a knock-on. 12-point deficit, and Portugal just struggling to get out of their own half. All the action happening down the right-hand side of the park at the moment, on the Portuguese goalposts. So Portugal attacking from deep. Got a long way to go here. Good strong initial carry, and they come round the corner nicely. Simple draw and pass, and Ireland reacting well to that and just keeping the pressure on, and Portugal unable to get out of the 22 still. So they do kick the ball off the pitch and say, we're not going anywhere here. We'll take the 12-point deficit into half-time and recover for the second 7 minutes.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I think that Portugal, they've been on their own trial length for a lot of this game, so the right idea is just to conserve some energy. Don't try and go from your own 22. Take it into the second half. See if you can bite at the Irish from the halfway line rather than from your own 22. So Ireland going in 12 now up. I'd say that they've definitely got the dominant team here. Portugal a little bit to work on. Need to try and combat this strong Irish attack where they can. But definitely a strength of Ireland has been their power and their passes. Real strong as they break tackles, but the passes have been accurate out in front, and that's giving them the platform where they can get that opportunity to power through the Portuguese defence.
And we've just had a wee check from you. We've been informed by our experts from Rugby Europe who have just checked the paragraphs. If two teams are tied in the standings, it will be decided firstly by points scored and conceded, so the points difference. If that is also equal, then we'll look at the number of tries scored. That's accumulative over both legs, Hamburg and Croatia. So that is a situation we may see for Denmark and Sweden, and that's all about the relegation fight. We'll keep you updated on how that progresses. It may not be relevant, but there's the chance. Back to the action here. It's a quarter-final. It's a cup quarter-final. Ireland in a strong position to progress to the semis, with Portugal having to really fight for this now as they've been hanging on by the fingertips. It's only a 12-point deficit. 2 converted tries would be enough, assuming Ireland don't score again, and I think that's a pretty difficult assumption to make.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting second half, but I mean, I think that Ireland have got too much power here. It feels that Ireland, for me, we're going to go on and score another couple of tries in this. I don't think Portugal have quite got the power on this occasion, but let's wait and see. I'm not wanting to write them off just yet. Going with what's on paper and what we're seeing here live from the commentary box, as Portugal just don't kick that ball 10, so Ireland getting the opportunity straight away to tap and go.
Yeah, Emily Lane tapping and passing to the right hand side. Ireland coming away nicely. Sorry, my screen just went blank for a second there. We're back to the action. Ireland in possession, and they'll be grateful for every minute they can keep ball in the second half, because every minute with ball means they can't concede, and they're in a commanding position, as we've said, playing very well and moving the ball down the right hand side. Whoa, a little juggle, collecting the ball before she goes to deck. Faith Oriawa, confrontational, running straight, being penalised, using her elbows as a weapon is the call from the referee. I think that's maybe slightly harsh. I thought the Portuguese woman didn't get her tackle technique quite right, and that's why her head was in the wrong position. What do you make of that, Andy? What's your take on it?
Yeah, it seemed to be that she just crossed her arms over. She didn't put them out for the contact, and from what we see up here, we went down pitch side obviously, so maybe the elbow was out a little bit further than we can see, but she was protecting the ball. I thought the Portuguese defender was a little high possibly. However, decision was made. We'll get on with it for just now and have that discussion later on when we see it on video.
Yeah, absolutely. Just food for thought there, though. And we see some changes here. Faith O'Reilly leaves the field, and I think that was Robin O'Connor who takes to the field. Robin O'Connor having a good tournament herself, so that won't weaken this Irish team at all. If anything, it'll give them a boost with the fresh legs. Good pressure coming in. On. An impressive attempt at the counter, ruck. And the ball's been knocked on at the ground under that pressure, so Ireland with a great hustle off the ball, giving them the opportunity to attack.
Yeah, that was good pressure being put on there by Ireland onto the Portuguese attack. Didn't give them a second on the ball, and then managed to force the error on the ground to give them this scrum put in, which Emily Elaine will put in and give the options of Gorman to go either side for the attack. And she comes back to our side, sets up the ball, looks as if Portugal try and counter it, didn't quite get there. And I think that's Lane going again, and is going to pass this ball out to Fitzpatrick, who's going to fall over the line for a lovely little score for Ireland, just outside the commentary box here. Well played, Ireland. Good continuity there, good work from the scrum. Both sides of the pitch were opened up there. Gave Gorman the chance to go either way, and she came back to the left, which turns out to be the good option for Fitzpatrick to eventually get the ball in her hand and score for Ireland. Unfortunately, conversion not good. So we go into the last few minutes, 4 minutes of the game, 12-0 up to Ireland.
Ireland kicking off. And we're having a little bit of an issue with our clock again. It stopped in 41 seconds. Ireland scamper away for another try, and they're in full control of this contest. Ireland streaking away towards the semi-final, and there's very little the Portuguese can do to stop that now.
Yeah, Ireland very much in the ascendancy here. Every time they get the ball, they look dangerous. We were talking about their defence, and especially against the French, was excellent. And on this occasion, I would say that their attack is really good. They're working hard for each other as we see lots of changes happening, and players are getting a rest. Other players are getting the opportunity just to get a little bit of running in the legs before, as you say, they'll move on to the next round of this cup competition. Portugal got a player down at the moment. Just getting a little bit of attention. Barbosa just feeling a bit of a pain. She's going to limp off, a little help from her friend. I'm not going to start singing the song, but the physio taking her off the field, and I'm sure we'll see her being replaced by someone else very shortly, and then we'll get the game underway.
Yeah, Ireland just prepared here for the kickoff. They've got 3 on the left, 3 on the right. This could go anywhere. I wouldn't actually be surprised if they went down the middle. As we see number 7 of Portugal, we know all about her. That is Adelina da Costa, one of the most influential players in that squad. Ireland kicking out to the wide left, and Portugal gathering that well. That is da Costa, and she goes route 1. Trying to drag her foot out of that tackle, and she does so well, getting the offload away, and that's got some momentum into the Portuguese attack, maybe just what they needed. But all the Portuguese players on the left-hand side of the park, and now they filter out all to the right, fanning out rather. That play didn't quite work, but it was an interesting idea. And da Costa feeding the oncoming player, and not giving up here, but it's all just too little too late, and that is a knock on under the pressure of Katie Corrigan, the big number 11 who scored the last try for Ireland as well.
Yeah, it wasn't the best pass there, unfortunately, just hitting the ground in front of Castanheira Ferreira, and there was a difficult opportunity there for the pickup, so unfortunately little knock on, giving Ireland the ball back again, and I wouldn't bet against Ireland scoring here once more, as there's just over 1 minute to go in this game. The feed going in to the scrum by Emily Lane, looking to get her backs moving at pace.
And we've seen another change for Portugal. So one of the best women as well, Mota Marques. She's one another influential lady. She's on the park now. But it's Ireland in attack with possession, and they look for some space on this left-hand side. Inside step and just driving forward, keeping the ball under control, moving it out wide, and that is where they will cross the try line once more. It's Amy Larn and Ireland just getting the job done.
Yeah, exactly that, Ian. As I said, I wouldn't have put my money against them not scoring, I wouldn't have put my money against them not scoring. I had my money on them scoring, and that's exactly what happened. They just moved the ball into some space there, and Amy Larn, the one to go over this time. And conversion, unfortunately, not successful.
Yeah, and there we just see the replay of that try as Amy Larn crosses a line, dots it down, and this Irish team is just going from strength to strength. I keep trying to pick out stars, but let's be honest, they're all stars in this Irish team. It's the team is the hero as they send the ball deep, making life difficult for Portugal. Ireland backing their defensive abilities. Portugal kick. This won't even leave their 22 though. It bounces awkwardly. Da Costa does regather, so unorthodox but effective. Portugal still attacking. Out in the wide left now, and this is one of the best attacks they've had all game. It is much too little too late, but progressing well up the park here, rewarded with a penalty, and they're off. A chip kick going only to the Irish defender. I think it was Corrigan who collected, and Ireland transitioning into attack well, but leaving the ball behind. It's knocked on, and I think that'll be the final action of the game. It is indeed. There we hear the full-time whistle. I don't know what you guys are seeing on the television pictures. No, now we're back to what we want to see.
Yeah, well-deserved win for Ireland. 27-0, I believe, was the score. Apologies for the scores that are coming up on your screen, but a well-deserved win. And I think Ireland, we can agree, were the domineering team there, and on that occasion Portugal just couldn't quite get the ball in hand. I think they only had 2 real attacking opportunities in that last movement there. Both times they tried to kick the ball and chase, but there was no real distance, no real passion to get there. It just felt that they were kicking to try something, but not with any real effect there. But Ireland will go on to the next stage of the competition. We wish them all the best there as we get ready for the next game, which will be Poland v Belgium.
Indeed it will. Poland against Belgium. It's a quarter-final. It's a cup quarter-final. And the crowd are getting a little bit louder here. They understand the importance. Poland, Belgium, and the winner of this will play the winner of Spain against Great Britain. Ireland will play the winner of France against Germany. We'll see those fixtures later, but Belgium here taking on an incredibly strong Polish team who are back in their red kit, playing from left to right in this fixture.
Yeah, we're very much getting down to the business end now, aren't we, with the first of all, the Ireland game. Now we've got a great lineup here. Poland coming into this, I would say, is a stronger team. However, that doesn't mean that Belgium are just going to sit back and let them score. So let's see how this match transpires.
Yeah, and great to see the men's team from Poland are gathering in the stands in front of us and warming up the vocal cords. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear some of that over our microphones. But a lot of support for the Polish women, and they have the early possession. Not really going anywhere fast, but getting a penalty, and be interesting to see what choice they take.
Yeah, Margot Stephens just getting caught up in there, couldn't roll away from that one, giving the ball to the Polish, who are looking to tap and move this through the hands.
And they hit a lovely line through Klichowska, cutting back against the grain of the Belgian defence and just slicing through them like a hot knife through butter. And that's the first try in this Cup quarter-final. Poland taking control of the fixture.
Poland scores. Number 7, Anna.
Yeah, what an angle she ran there. That was from the training ground, wasn't it? Just a little tap and goal. Two players running back at the angle on this occasion. Klichowska getting the ball, and wow, what speed there, just to outmaneuver the Belgian defence. They don't think they even got a hand on her, and she went round under the post, making the kick a little bit easier to put Poland ahead 7 points to 0.
Yeah, and she's having one heck of a tournament, maybe an early candidate for the player of the tournament shortlist even, going from strength to strength. Oh, and tapped back well by Belgium, but a Polish player just positioning herself well to gather the ball, and another crash line, a hard line, trying to look against the grain once more. Holding the ball up nicely, stuttering and stepping and accelerating into a gap. That ball was a little loose though. And look to move the ball back to the right and then step back and snapping to the left, straightening things up, drawing in the Belgian defence and recycling well, but that's gone a little bit loose here. So a lot of work. Oh, the Belgians come up with a lot of pressure on that occasion. Little step onto the outside shoulder, getting the ball into the hands of Zeisluch, who's unable to break free but coming very close to doing so. And Belgium with a penalty. What a great jackal, working hard after that half break from Zeisluch. Great effort.
Yeah, Poland just falling over on the ball there, unfortunately, not giving Belgium the opportunity to get in there with a jackal. Just came off, knees just touched the ground, the referee indicating that it was sealing off. And I think it was Witkowska that unfortunately went over the top of Zeisluch there, giving Belgium an opportunity to launch their first real attack here, to see what they've got, see if they can pull something out of the bag here and get this ball out into these wide channels where they've got some real pace.
Oh, inside ball from Belgium, finds a little gap. Defence recovering well. Oh, and very flat there, Belgium, but they step out of one challenge and fending out of another one. It is Gerne from Belgium taking it to the Polish. We've seen her do that all tournament. She's a big, strong woman with a great fend and power in the thighs. And Belgium now penetrating the Polish 22, so they're mounting a real comeback here. Only one try separating the teams. But now Poland back in possession, stepping inside and accelerating through the gap, streaking off towards the try line. It's Pamięta, the captain of Poland, leading by example, taking advantage of the error from Belgium. What a fantastic try to extend the lead for Poland.
Yeah, Belgium put under pressure there. It was Witkowska just put the pressure on the player and made sure that the turnover came for Pamięta to pounce on it, and all of a sudden she went right the way through under the post. Good score for Poland.
Less than 2 minutes to go.
And the conversion is a success. It's 14 points to 0 with 1.5 minutes of the first half left to play. A good high kick from Poland. That's very contestable. They do get the slap back and they've regained possession. It's a little bit messy. Druzgala coming under great pressure from Gerney. Gerney working hard on both sides of the ball this match, as Poland look to find outside shoulders, and they do so well. But Sajluch just unable to gather that pass. It's gone a little bit high for her, maybe.
Yeah, that was good pressure coming on from Belgium there to put them into that position to force a little high pass. And Sajluch just couldn't get both her hands to that, forcing the turnover there. Well done, Belgium, and they will get the scrum on the 15-metre line, ready to attack from here.
There's a knock on there from Belgium, and Poland high fives all round. They know what that means. They're going into the second half with a 14-point lead. Okay, and we're off again. Druzgala hitting it up. But turned over effectively by Belgium. So they have possession and an opportunity for the half-time to strike back and reduce that deficit. Those Polish high fives might have been a little bit premature. Belgium tapping, attacking in the depth and the width, and Poland just drifting over well, staying connected in defence. They look very organised. I think the Belgians will struggle to break them down here. Gerney regathers, and the Polish attack like a swarm around the ball carrier, cutting off most of the passing options.
Yeah, a few of these passes going a little bit high from Belgium. They need to get into the rhythm a little more, and this is a lot better. Hitting into the wide channels, giving the ball out wide, and she's managed to break free. Will she go the whole way? Chased by Sajluch. I think she's going to get in there and go under the post. And is that Bakondo? Firing on in there under the post for a score. Belgium are back in this game.
Yeah, that's exactly the answer they needed, isn't it? Just before half time, they played 8 minutes of rugby here in this first half and 28 degrees sunshine, and they've reduced the deficit to 7 points. That is really, really important. Belgium keeping their hopes of a cup semi-final alive with that score.
Yeah, as I said, just before that break that they had, if they can get their passes a lot better, which they did this time, more accurate, a little bit lower, stop having them floating up, because what's happening is players are going to either have to jump up or go up onto their toes. They're not getting the ball in front, and when Belgium do get the ball in front, that's what they can do. They can run at pace, and they have people like Bakonda that can really put some gas on and challenge this Polish outfit, who are playing very well at the moment, but there are weaknesses in there, and Belgium just starting to find what those weaknesses are and hoping that they can find another try early in this second half when we start again, and that'll make it a great game for the viewers to watch.
It certainly is a great game, Andy. Poland taking the lead, extending the lead, and Belgium then hitting back with their solitary try of the first half. This is what we want from cup competition. Two quality sides going at it over 14 minutes. Poland have spoken enough. They're ready to get back into position. I just wonder when they'll start making some changes. Their bench is obviously stacked with talent as well. And apologies if you already mentioned it, Andy, I'm not really sure. But Goosen seems to be out. Do you have an update on that?
Yeah, at the moment she's out for today. The physios have told her to take a break. She is on a crutch, but she's hoping to play tomorrow. However, the physios might have a different opinion, but we'll get an update either later tonight or first thing tomorrow, and we'll see if she's fit to play as we see the second half underway. Poland straight on the attack through Zajslic on this side.
Yeah, the ball somehow just squirting out with that breakdown, and the referee saw the hands involved. That's why. So Poland with early possession, and Belgium under a little bit of pressure after conceding that penalty. If they can attack this scrum though, there is an option there.
Yeah, this is a great possession for Poland though. They're renowned here at their scrum. They've got strong, if you can remember in their last game, pushing people off the ball. They generally don't go backwards, and I suspect they'll get a little pop pass as we do, just a little bit too high though, and then they'll move it out there to the likes of Pamieta. Lovely feet work there just to take it back into contact, get the ball back under control, and see if they can really break this Belgian defence as they attack through Zajslic again. I think she's going to be going the whole way, isn't she? I don't think we've seen anyone stopping her. Zajslic, an amazing player, Ilona Zajslic. In contention in Hamburg for player of the tournament. In contention the year before for player of the tournament. In contention every year for player of the tournament. Great pace there, great work from Poland to get away from their own 5 metre line. Moving the ball into the middle and just creating opportunities and looking for the weakness in the Belgian defence there, which they found, and that now takes them with the conversion up to 21 points to 7.
Yeah, in a commanding position now. 2 minutes played, and Poland just going through the right process to tighten the grip on the quarter-final and get the job done. That kick won't go 10, I don't think. It's fallen just in front of Klitschovka. And Belgium with the tap. If they can hit back now, they still have more than enough time in the second half. But they will need to find some points fairly quickly here.
Yeah, as you say, Ian, they do need to find some points, and with passes like that, that's not going to help them. It needs to go to hand, needs to be accurate. There's not much time, but there's still enough time if they can get a little bit of go forward. And this player, Gurney, she's got strength. She tends to draw players in, and she's drawn 2 in on this occasion. Looking to move the ball. That looked like a slap down. This could be a yellow card. Not on this occasion. Referee Tora, I think it is, Alice Tora there, saying that just a hit down. However, Poland will have to be careful. Won't want to be doing that again.
Yeah, maybe slightly fortunate there, but moving on, looking to the job in hand. Belgium have possession. They choose the scrum, so they're tying in those Polish forwards. I wonder if they're just tempting fate here a little bit. You mentioned Poland pushing some other teams off the ball in the scrum time. But I think Belgium will fancy their chances, maybe try to get the ball back in the hands of Bakonda here on the wide right. And they do indeed, and there's Bakonda. Well covered by Zajslic. And Belgium playing back to the wide right, going wide to wide. Straightening nicely, coming on the inside. Oh, and Poland getting over that ball very well, but unable to get the lift in the jackal. So Belgium retaining possession well, and once more they do go wide and put the kick through for Bakonda to chase. It's Druzgala chasing back for Poland. She's no slouch either, and she shepherds the ball into touch, watching it, not touching it, and there will be a Polish line out in their own 22.
Yeah, I think that was Blondieu with the kick through. You could see her signalling to her winger to make sure she goes Bakonda there, get some pace, and I just think Bakonda's legs had gone a little bit. Druskala, as you say, covering in defence, was really back there, making sure it got shepherded in. But a good idea, I think, from Belgium, turning this Polish team. However, the last time Poland were in here, we did see them escape very quickly. Zajsluch scoring a try, so let's see what they can do from this position.
Oh, and that is Zajsluch storming through the middle on that half break. Good leg drive, just giving her the extra metres, and now they're back on the right hand side, challenging Bakonda. Cutting in away from the touchline to good effect. So we've got 2 minutes left to be played here. A 2-try deficit. And Poland marching up the field, just losing control of the ball in that challenge. Unable to regather, so Belgium do regain possession. One last roll of the dice maybe for them.
Yeah, it is Belgian ball. They shepherded them well and watched what the Polish team were doing. But I have to say, I just love watching Natalia Pamięta. The little bit of footwork there. It was literally 4 metres that she made with a little sidestep, a little bit of power forward, then got the offload. However, small mistake just meant a turnover to Belgium, and they can launch their attack from just outside their 22 as they move the ball into these wider channels.
And Belgium struggling just to advance. They're doing everything within their powers, but these athletic, strong Polish women holding them back and denying them of any opportunity to advance up the park. If there's anyone that can do it, it is Gurney. Oh, and Zajsluch has lined up the tackle. And I think it was Stevens who was alert to it. Belgium with a 2-on-1. Just a little show and go. There's a Polish player coming over the cover, and unfortunately the pass not going to hand. You can see how tired the players are out on their feet. Bakonda just unable to accelerate onto that. She is exhausted. What an effort they've put in, but it's just a little bit too little on this occasion.
Yeah, Zajsluch flying up out of the defensive line there, putting the pressure on Belgium, but on that occasion, Belgium were wise to it. Managed to get on the outside. I think it was Blondieu with the pass. Then as they accelerated going forward, we couldn't quite see. I think it was Isabet with the pass to Bakonda on the outside. It was just too far in front of them. As you said, their legs are heavy, their lungs are bursting. Didn't quite have enough in the tank there to get that score, which could have given them the opportunity for one more attack. But I think on this occasion we'll see a scrum ball to Poland. It'll be 2 passes, and I suspect it'll be kicked out of the park as soon as it gets to the wide player, if not before that.
Yeah, and that is the result. Poland get the ball off the park. They progress to the semis in commanding fashion. So we have already seen the first 2 cup quarter-finals, and we have 2 more of them for you coming up in this women's competition here in Split, Croatia. Poland 21, Belgium 7. And as I said, the winner of that game playing the winner of Spain v Great Britain. And that's a game we will have coming up for you in just a minute. Quarter-final number 3, Spain against Great Britain. The winner of this will play Poland in the semis. And that is no pretty prospect, to be perfectly honest, but that's a challenge the teams have here in Split. There's no easy way to the final. You're going to have to go through Europe's best if you want to get there. Spain playing in red with the yellow numbers running from right to left in the first half. Great Britain in their light blue kit playing from right to left. They've looked very impressive, much improved on their performances in Hamburg. And we have an experienced referee in Maria Latos of Germany to take charge of the fixture. We're just about to get underway. It's Millie Hyatt with the kick that doesn't quite go 10. Spain with possession from the tap. And we're off. A little switch play. Then looking for the width. Outside shoulders. Shilika having to work hard. And she does. They've lost a lot of meters there, but Shilika, very importantly, bringing down the Spanish attack. And they keep on coming, this time down the middle. Moving it back to the right-hand side. A good read by Shilika this time. But just not quite getting the height right in the tackle, and she is penalised. Spain choosing the scrum from that penalty. Tying in the British forwards on the right-hand side of the park, leaving a vast space on the left-hand side, and even an opportunity to dart down the right, possibly. But if you do that, you'll have to get past Greenway. I wouldn't fancy trying it. So in Spain, go route 1, down the middle, inside shoulders, unders lines, and to great effect, they get the first try of the game. It's Garcia Gala, not for the first time, getting Spain on the scoreboard.
So Ilona, Croatia, congratulations, on that win. That puts you into the semi-finals. Does that make you happy?
Yes, certainly. It's one of the goals achieved, checked on the list. The team was very concentrated and we felt the power of Belgium also really wanting it. They put up a very big fight, so it's props to them. But our team, yeah, I'm very proud of them.
What do you think your strengths are in this tournament?
I think we're developing from match to match. We're really utilizing all of the work that we have done past on the pitch and like working on our mistakes, fixing our mistakes, making those rucks more clear, spreading the ball wider. All of the things that we have to work on, we're working on them.
And we're hoping for a final place in this tournament here in Split, aren't we?
Yes, that's the goal, that's the dream, that's the work hard.
Well, we wish you all the best, good luck. I hope it all goes really well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, and if you're wondering why Andy isn't next to me, you just had your answer. You'll be running up the stairs to meet me again in just a second. But back to the action here, and Greenway Pixon goes off the back of the scrum, meets a very physical challenge and knocked back. The pressure coming on from Spain, and they gather the ball as well. So progressing nicely in this quarter-final. Inside step just opens up the gap, and chased down but dragged down over the try line, and it's a second try for Spain after 3.5 minutes. They go up to 12 points to 0. It was Gortazar Valverde with that big hit against Greenway that just created that whole situation. And the pressure just being applied by Spain, firstly in defence, grabbing up that loose ball, and here we see the finish. A strong handoff and a good reach for the line. And the big man, Andy Knight, is back here. Have a wee breather before you talk, Andy. I'm sure you need it. Don't know if you picked up on that on the microphone, but he's breathing very heavily. There's a lot of stairs in between the interviews and the commentary box. Free kick for Great Britain in the middle. So maybe an opportunity for them to just make sure this quarter-final doesn't get out of reach in the first half already. Greenway with the scissors play. Behind the back of the decoy runner, and a lovely miss pass out to the wing. But just getting too close to the touchline. Evelyn Clark is shepherded into touch by the Spanish defence, who have earned themselves the right to throw in at this line out. Andy, have you caught your breath?
Yeah, I just caught my breath. Those are long stairs there. After a little interview with Ilona Zajslic, taking every match as it comes, taking nothing for granted, knowing fine that the likes of these two teams, Spain and GB, are excellent, and they'll have to come up against one of them if they want to win this tournament at some point, as we see Spain taking another break down the outside. Even though they're 12-0 up, they're again taking nothing for granted, and look at those lovely hands going wide.
Yeah, lovely hands there, and out to the wing. Spain looking in a commanding position here. Oh, a big fend coming in there. That was Greenway. Not for the first time in this game. Having to take a bit of a hit. Good footwork from Spain as they open the ball up to the right-hand side. Technical inaccuracy there. Ball's dropped. Britain get another chance. Now Britain struggling to string the phases together at the moment, Andy.
Yeah, well, Spain excellent, as we just said. There's some lovely play, moving the ball side to side there. Unfortunately, just a little knock on in the midfield, so maybe a little bit more pressure coming on from GB, which is what they need to do. And as you just said, in attack, they need to string the phases together, hold on to this ball, because they have so many attacking threats across the field as they break into the 15-metre channel on this occasion.
Yeah, and that's Millie Hyatt looking for the big contact, but she is driven backwards by the smaller opposing player, and Spain limping onto that and being rewarded with the penalty. Now, she wasn't really on the ball, was she there? She's more holding on to the body of Lovibond, but rewarded anyway, Andy.
Yeah, Lovibond there. There was a gap up the side we could see here as well. However, good reactions from the Spanish team, and these players, they maybe don't always go for the ball, but if their hands are around, showing a good picture to the referee that it looks like they're going to go for the ball, then they will win that prize at the end of the day, which is exactly what Spain has done to win this scrum.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying watching the Spanish tackles, their defence. They have such great body position, and they're getting under the centre of gravity of these big British players. And here they are with attack, though. Shipping the ball out to Gortazar Valverde. She's got pace, and she's going towards the line, gets the offload in, and it is touchdown by Blanco Hortaguera Pedrero, and Spain extending their lead in the first half already to 3 tries.
Yeah, that was some excellent handling, just as you were saying about their defence and the way that they drive those legs to get underneath the ball, underneath the arms of the GB players and drive. They also get on the nerves of the GB players by having such accurate passes and going into that wide channel. We saw Gortazar Valverde just attacking down there, thinking she was going to go the whole way, but didn't quite make it. Great scramble defence from GB, but who was on hand but the number 10, Blanco Hortaguera Pedrero, for the offload, and she fell over the line for that third try for Spain. Some great work by them.
Yeah, 17 points lead in a cup quarter final is really a bit of a luxury position at half time. We're much more used to teams going tit for tat in cup quarter finals. But Spain in a very commanding position now. They topped the Group C, and Great Britain finished second, so maybe not surprising, but I did expect to see a bit of a more close fixture. That might still happen in the second half. Who knows? Anything can happen in sports.
Yeah, still all to play for. I don't think this game is over and done with yet, that's for sure. However, Spain do look like they're the more dominant team at the moment. But Team GB, as we keep calling them, Team GB, I think they're the only ones we mentioned the word team before, but GB will be looking to get some ball in hand, as you say, try and string some phases together, get a bit of movement, and try and really penetrate this Spanish defence.
Yeah, that's a challenge, isn't it? They've struggled to do so far, but the opportunity in half-time is just to adjust tactically slightly. And if you get that call right, anything can happen. Spain having missed 2 conversions, that might just leave a bit of an opportunity. And the players are ready to get back underway. So Spain prepared to kick. Maria Latos is happy with the situation. She blows her whistle. GB ready for the trick play. They were alert to that. Hyatt picking up the ball, and GB attacking now with possession. Greenway moving the ball to the middle of the park, and the Spanish intensity of defence is reminiscent of the way the French defend at times. And they're really just shooting up at the Brits and making their life difficult. I think you said they're getting on their nerves, Andy, in the first half, and they certainly are.
Yeah, Spain working really hard there. Just from your one, just getting the defense, getting the attacker, getting underneath the attacker. Sorry about that. Getting underneath the attacker and trying to hold them up. Unfortunately for them, the GB players came in and just got her to ground, and then that meant that the Spanish player was caught underneath, couldn't roll away, which is why the penalty was given, even though they were unhappy. But GB up for the scrum, get the ball away from here.
Yeah, Greenway a slightly loose pass as she comes under pressure there, but some momentum in the forwards direction now for GB. A good carry there from Lucia Scott, and maintaining the continuity well, but it's a double movement on the floor, picked up on by my co-commentator Andy. And Spain are off. This could well be the 4th try if they play their cards right. Down the right hand side, a good fend, and they drive, and they're within 3 metres now. Right to left, and the crossfield kick to Valverde. Valverde pirouettes, a little hitch kick, and fends Shilika and dots down. That was a lovely sequence of skills from Valverde after the crossfield kick.
Yeah, it maybe wasn't the best crossfield kick. It's probably supposed to be in front of her, but how much power did Valverde have there? Gortazar Valverde, unbelievable. And that's Katie Shilliker. She's a very experienced player, very strong, great athletic ability, but she had nothing that could combat the power there of Denise Gortazar Valverde. Well played to Spain, and the kick just unfortunately short. Good accuracy, but just short.
Yeah, and Spain going from strength to strength. Here we see the fend and the touchdown. I'd have liked to have seen the footwork before that, but never mind. I'll have to watch back the YouTube video from Rugby Europe. All matches available in full length. Greenway to tap once more for Great Britain. We have 4 minutes left on the clock, and it's a 22-point deficit. So Greenway, one of the best players of this team, might just have to create something now or never. A good jackal coming in once more. The Spanish defence is relentless in their work rate, but that ball bounces unkindly for them. And Great Britain snap it up. Playing the ball out to the left. Schilliker with the show and go and dummying and swerving. Avoiding the tackle into touch on this occasion. And streaking away. It's Ciaran Bell. I don't know how you pronounce that first name. Apologies. But Bell with the try to reduce the deficit for Great Britain.
Yeah, lovely little play from Katie Schilliker there. We were just talking about her in defence, that she was overpowered in the last score. However, this time she managed to get some purchase on the outside shoulder of the Spanish defence and managed to power her way down to free up Ciaran Bell to really attack down that outside channel and get a dot down for GB. Unfortunately, the conversion was unsuccessful as we come back to the middle for the kickoff, which again doesn't go 10. And I think that you'll find that Shaw de Leon will not be happy with her kicking there at the moment.
Yeah, that's 19-year-old Salona Shaw de Leon. She's a very young player and here gathering great experience. So she must not get too frustrated by little mistakes like that. That's part of the journey. And Spain once more. They'll probably look to attack in the width once more. That's where they've had most of their success. Wrapped up well by the defence, but once more able to move the ball in the depth, in the width. Technically accurate and lovely passes out to the wing, and it's just fantastic timing and running lines. It's simplicity in itself, but it's pretty much impossible to defend when you get it right, using the full width of the park. A fantastic try to extend the lead with 1.5 minutes left to be played in the quarter-final.
Yeah, that was some great passing, wasn't it? The ball is going out in front of each player. They're running onto it at speed. The defence are coming up, but they just can't cope with it. And once these Spanish players get the ball in hand, it's just a slight adjustment of the feet. They managed to move to the outside channels, and I think on that occasion it was Molina Colomina that scored on. But what pace they had to get down the outside and round the side of that GB team. Well played, Spain. Conversion unfortunately unsuccessful, making it 27 points to 5 and only 50 seconds to go in this game.
Yeah, who needs conversions when you can score tries for fun? Another scuffed kick, giving GB the ball. And 30 seconds left on the clock. Shaw de Leon passing and supporting. Good continuity there from Great Britain, and the retreating Spanish player just getting in the way, so it's penalty. Attacking down the right. It was Eva Wood getting some close attention from the Spanish defence, and Shaw de Leon steps and darts and looks for that gap. Greenway with the little scissors play. Again, breakdown working well. And they're progressing towards the try line. And may just have the last say in the quarter-final as the buzzer has already sounded. Sorry, on you go.
Just a bad line there. The idea was right, but didn't really communicate with each other on that occasion. But the urgency from Team GB here, the urgency seems to be a lot higher in this last 50 seconds to a minute. I'd like to have seen this further through the game as they win a penalty.
The terrible news for Spain is at the moment they have Gortazar Valverde down, a very important player for them. She's been on the park for the full 14 minutes, and she's getting a treatment now. She appears to be in a lot of pain.
What do you want? Yeah, okay.
And not moving all that much. Normally when a player writhes around a little bit, then you expect them to get back up onto their feet quickly. But she's moving very little on the ground, And that is not what we want to see with the semi-final against Portugal on the cards for Spain. And we're showing you the highlights right now, just a recap of the game in this stoppage and play. A lot of Spanish tries and one British one. Gortazar Valverde still getting treatment. She's sitting now. I think it's a shoulder injury, Andy. And there does appear to be a certain degree of concern, or is it even just a head knock? I will clear that up in due course. Anyway, there's no point in me speculating anymore about the matter. We've got one more quarter-final coming up for you after this. It'll be France against Germany. A great rivalry there. And I'm sure the Germans will be very up for it, as will the French.
Yeah, that'll be a great game to watch there, to see who progresses to the next stage as we start the game back here, this GB Spain game. Not long to go in here. GB getting one more opportunity to run at this Spanish defence, with not a lot of space in there for them to go.
Yeah, Shaw de Leon with a nice little play there and a good clean as well, so a great prospect for the future. 19 years of age. And moving ball from left to right. Looking for a gap, almost finding one. And now they do have the 2-on-1 in the outside channel, and the ball unfortunately not sticking. Bell looked to be away for a sure try. And Spain attempting to get the ball off the park, but they're just grubbering it further towards their own try line. Now they do get it off the park. I'm going to call that unconventional, Andy, but it was a great performance for the rest of the game. They got an early lead and they just kept stretching it.
Yeah, we'll call it unconventional. That's good, but yeah. On another instance, if it had just been one score, that could have been dangerous. However, great play by the Spaniards to get back there, gather the ball once more and kick it out of the park there. As we said, they had that game won. They were the dominant team. Congratulations to them as they move on. And as you say, next game up will be France against Germany.
So here we go with the last of the Cup quarter-finals in the women's competition. High fives all round for the Germans. And France collect at the middle of the park as well. Germany playing from right to left in their white kit, and France in their classic dark blue playing from left to right. Both teams finishing second place in their groups. France in Pool A and Germany in Pool B. So they didn't quite have the results they were looking for on day one, but making the cup nonetheless. And it'll be very interesting to see who can come out on top. Very evenly matched game, I suspect. That's Timmet in the wide channel, losing the ball forward. She regathered it, but not after it only after it had touched her opponent, which makes it a knock-on. Slightly technical point there, but Jenny Lee on the money as ever. France with a nice curving run out to the wide left. Fending, and Julia Brown has had a brilliant tournament. She's really upped her game since Hamburg, where she was no slouch either, but having a great game, and Coach Curtis Bradford just keeps selecting her based on her form. And after that good work, Germany rewarded with possession. They'll have to win their own line out, but that's been working well up to now, so I don't think they'll be too worried about that. Gesine Adler from the top of the line out. And we go pitch side for the interview.
The result you wanted, however, a good team performance up to this point.
Yeah, 100%. So, like reflecting on Hamburg, we've done a lot of reflecting and trying to bring it into this tournament. And there is so much growth just with personnel and girls that are new into this squad as well. We haven't taken the same squad, so the new girls have really come into themselves and brought what they have in their super strengths to the table, which has been like a game changer for us. And also just understanding each other and learning how to play each other, like play with each other. We've seen some real special moments. So yeah, disappointing result there, but so much growth in such a limited time. And I think if we, we're able, like obviously with PWR at home, difficult to have that time together. But if we are able to have that time, I think like this squad could go like real big places. So yeah,
absolutely. I think more time together, a bit more practice will be great. But as you just mentioned, a lot of new players, so it's great to see them performing so well as well.
Yeah, 100%. And like we met. A lot of us didn't meet, like only met each other a week ago. So it's really hard to kind of put on a performance. But like we've done to get to this point. I think I'm really proud of the squad as a whole. And yeah, they've really done well and new to the team and new to sevens as well. So it's promising.
Yeah, we wish you all the best in the next game. Good luck. I hope it does go well, and I'm sure the team will bond.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, H.
Back to the action in this last cup quarter final here. And Germany having worked so hard in defence to get the ball back. The very talented Johanna Hacker working well together with Mette Zimmert to bundle the French into touch, and now they do have the ball, but going backwards as well. Hennig with the pace and with the pass. That's Adler. We've seen her do this before. She's bursting down the right hand side and she's in the clear and no one will catch her. Go on, Gesine. You're gonna make it all the way. And Adler gets the first try of quarter final number 4. Big smile on her face. She gives the ball to Julia Brown for the conversion. And repeating her efforts of Hamburg, Gesine Adler going the length of the pitch for the try. Julia Brown with a strong kick. It was right between the posts, so not much that you could go wrong there. But she gets the job done. So Germany with an early lead against this extremely young French team. They have a 17-year-old, 2 18-year-olds, 2 19-year-olds, and no one older than 23 in their squad this weekend. So this young French team coming under early pressure as they rise to claim that kick. And France on the attack now. Zimmert contesting hotly but not quite able to get the lift on the ball. Oh, Hennig aggressive as ever. And Germany look to put on the counter-ruck and attack there. The reward with a penalty from referee Lee. Sending the French back 10. And Germany just with another opportunity here to keep possession, grind down the French a little bit, and maybe extend their lead with just under 2 minutes of the first half remaining.
Yeah, it's great pressure from Germany there, wasn't it, to get that turnover. Hennig working hard on the ground there. France just coming in from the side as well. A little knock on, I think it was, and we see it's Germany put in a scrum in an optimal position. They should be able to attack at speed from here as France get an early shove on the scrum. Good work down the outside again by Germany, working hard. as they bring it back to this far side with Julia Brown taking some contact, breaking tackles as she does.
Yeah, she's been fantastic this tournament. I mentioned it before. A big shout out to her once more. She's getting through so much work on both sides of the ball for Germany, and really, like I said, being selected time and time again.
Novotny going quick there and just hesitating for a moment. Got absolutely creamed by one of the French defenders. However, they move the ball to this outside into the hands of Johanna Hacker. Another great defensive effort from France as they come in for the counter ruck. But Julia Brown is there to move it on to Ricky Hennig. And again, Simmet getting there to create the overlap for Hacker to go in the 5 metre channel. Great patience there from Germany. Great work on the outside. Great support play. Well done, Germany.
Yeah, and I think you know this women's squad from Germany a little bit better than I do, Andy. Johanna Hacker coming back after an injury break in Hamburg, I believe.
Yeah, she's been out for a bit of time there. We're not sure that she's fully recovered. She's obviously not played in every game. After speaking to the coaches and the physios, I wouldn't say they're resting her, they're just taking care of her, making sure she doesn't do too much, and she's on for the important times such as that one where she links with her teammate in Germany, Mette Zimmet, to go in for a score. So well played to them as they go into the half-time break. 10 points to 0 up against France, which usually we might presume that France would be ahead. They generally are up there, but on this occasion, Germany showing that they're no slouches.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Germany, but just to mention it once more, France leaving a lot of players at home for this tournament. They topped the table in Hamburg. They had the player of the tournament, Hawa Tunkara, and big names like that they've left at home, and they've turned up here this weekend nominating a very young side. Like I said, a 17-year-old in there, 2 18-year-olds, a couple of 19-year-olds, and no one older than 23. So this French side maybe here more for a development purpose than high performance. I mean, obviously development within high performance, but they maybe aren't targeting the tournament victory in the same sense as they did in Hamburg.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Ian. Absolutely. I think any French coach, though, or any French representative team will tell you they do always want the win. However, as you say, the performance will be much more important than the result at the end of the day, because all these young players need to be blooded. They need to get the opportunities to show what they can do. They need to be put up against the best in their division, and we're seeing that today, that they're coming up against some great teams and having to really come out of their shells and show what they can do. But on this occasion, Germany are up by 10 points, so France with a bit of work to do. Germany needing to not hang on, but they certainly need to keep pushing and play to the strengths that they have.
Yeah, keep pushing is exactly what I was going to say. Push on. They've got the start they wanted, but they can't rest on their laurels by any means. Julia Brown with another good kick-off. Well taken by France and evading the first oncoming chasing line. So France with early possession in the second half. Cutting back to the blind side, getting the hands free for the offload. And again, making meters. Oh, and the show and the go, and there is a gap there. Selling award-winning dummies. I think it's number 77. Lefrançois Marie.
Yeah, that was a beautiful bit of play by Marie Lefrançois. Just the show and go. I mean, I think she lost her own teammates, never mind the Germany squad there. Just threw that dummy pass. Everyone went one direction, she went the other way, and she had the pace to run the 50 metres almost under the posts, as we see the conversion going over as well to take the points to 10 points to 7 for Germany. Germany got to be careful here, I think. Make sure they get some possession, hold on to ball, don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, and Germany making a change, so Annika Novotny goes out and Charlie, the youngest player in the squad, Charlotta Malaysia, takes to the field. And she has the ball in her hands now. Wearing the number 11 for you, the new player. And she taps, switches, and Hennig sees an opportunity. She goes for it. Maybe leaving her support behind slightly on that occasion, getting isolated. It maybe wasn't the best of options. So France now once more with possession. And it's a 3-point game here. Julia Brown with the tackle, but there's space and an opportunity out here. Hennig chasing back. She won't quite have the pace. Charlie won't have the pace. And it's a try for France. They take the lead for the first time in the fixture. Tony Fiorese for France.
Yeah, that's great finishing off there from Fiorese down this outside channel, just outstripped Hacker, and too much pace for Hennig there as well. But if we take it back to that little tap and go that they had there, that looked as if it was a training ground set piece manoeuvre that they have, but for some reason the support players weren't there quick enough and the turnover came. So great work by this young French team, and they managed to capitalise by moving the ball into the hands of Fiorese, who went over, as we see the kickoff coming once more from Dufros.
Yeah, 4 minutes left on the clock, and Germany with a 2-point deficit now. France in a good position, not necessarily a commanding position, but they've clawed themselves back into this game and taken the lead, and they're back in possession, which is exactly what they'd want from that kickoff. Just keeping it tight, and they've identified a weakness in the German defence, I think. This second half, it's quite clear they keep targeting the fringes at the breakdown, and to great effect. It's got them back into the game. They've extended their lead to 7 points with a conversion to come.
Yeah, a great little score from Zizi there. Lovely work from Renaudin, Renaudin, just lovely little jinking run there to create the little overlap there, and just giving that pass back to the number 16, Ines Zizi, and she powered over for that score. Well played, France, on that occasion. And as you said, Ian, they're just targeting some of the weaker areas, and Germany need to tighten those up a little bit if they want to progress in the tournament.
Yeah, the French have a great coaching team around this squad, and they've clearly identified something in the first half, and they're executing well in this second half. Again, the pressure comes on. Johanna Hacker just tries to hack it forward, but it goes to France, and once more powering into the 22 of the German team, who are now holding on by the skin of their teeth. France trying to break through, but that wasn't legal. Get out of jail for Germany, and Sophie Hacker progressing up the park and throwing the missed pass over to Mette Simat, and I think she'll run it in from here. She's got pace for days, stretching the legs, even dropping down into fourth gear before she reaches the try line, and looking over her shoulder and dotting down.
Yeah, that was great vision from Sophie Hacker there to see that the opportunity was on to get the ball in the hands of Mette Simat, the try-scoring machine, as we've called her for Germany. She was in an excellent position as we see her going not quite under the post. It's 17-15 at the moment. We really need Malaysia to put this one over to make it 17-all, take this game into a tie-break situation with a minute and a bit to go. So 17-all, lovely little kick by Malaysia. For me, she's probably the best female kicker in Germany. Very accurate with her kicks. Her kickoffs here, hopefully she'll prove me right again, put some height in this so that her teammates can get underneath it.
Yeah, well, she certainly got the job done on that occasion, Andy, with all the pressure in the world on her shoulders. She's tied the game with France, 17-17. The kickoff was on the money as well. Here we go. Penalty for Germany. This could be a critical momentum shift in the game. And it is Adler. She got the try scoring off. are underway in this fixture, and she lies on her back, pumps her fist and soaks it up. She knows there's only half a minute left to be played and Germany have the lead all of a sudden.
Yeah, my favourite player there, Steffi Gruber, just saw the opportunity to tap and go quickly. French team had to retreat and Gruber put them on the back foot, laying the ball into the hands of Adler, who finished it off. And there we see Malatia just taking her time, waiting for that hooter to go so that there won't be another kick-off for France getting the opportunity. And she hits the post there. It's unlucky there, but that final whistle goes, which will mean that Germany will finish in the top 4, so that will be one extra place higher than they got in Hamburg. They're going to be a very happy team no matter what happens. Fantastic plays. We see the subs coming on, coaches coming on. Germany, absolutely delighted for them.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. I'm delighted for them as well, and don't want to be a spoil sport here because they've done well to get into the semi-final, but the way they're celebrating at the moment, it looks like they've achieved the goal that they came here for, and I would like to see them staying a little bit humble and really focusing on a semi-final win and not celebrating that as if it was the final.
Yeah, I think we know what you're saying there, Ian, but this is a team that have never made it to this far before, so I think we've got to give them a little bit of leeway on this occasion, let them take in these celebrations. Hopefully they'll be on a high just now, but they'll be ready for the next games tomorrow. I'm sure that the coaching team, the physios, will all have them rehydrated, analysed and ready to go for tomorrow. They'll want to go even higher now they've got a taste of the semi-finals.
Yeah, that's just the bitter Scotsman in me, Andy. Bar humbug and all that. Germany, really, they do deserve to celebrate. You're absolutely right. Enjoy the moment, soak it up. And we know now who our semi-finalists will be. We'll have Germany facing Ireland and Poland facing Spain. And just before you all log out, just an important information for everyone. There's been an emergency meeting between Rugby Europe and they have decided that because of a storm warning tomorrow and they're worried that that might affect play, there has been a change to the kickoff times. The day will get underway at 10:30 and we won't be having that big long break. We'll have an hour break, and so things are a little bit more early. These changed times will be being posted on social media and on the Rugby Europe homepage, so anyone looking to log in to watch specific games, please check up on that. I won't list them all for you now over audio, but that information is for you, readily available. Check it out. That's important if you want to follow your team back home. And with that, we have a little break. We'll be coming back in around 20 minutes' time for the conclusion of day 2 in Split, and it'll be the men's ranking quarterfinals and then the men's cup quarterfinals. So don't go away. We're back in 20 minutes' time with all that action for you guys back home. Enjoy.
So Meta Zimmer, congratulations, a semi-finalist in Split. How does that sound?
Unbelievable, like a lot of girls worked for this like over 10 years probably. One girl had her 30 years tournament this
weekend, and it's our first time in semi-final. I think last time a women's team made it to the semi-final was 2009, so I'm unbelievably proud and I'm relieved.
Yeah, we saw everybody running onto that field at the end. That's fantastic news. However, this tournament's not over for you yet. Can you go the whole way to the final?
Well, I hope so. I have a strong belief in this group. I mean, we showed against big nations what we are capable of, so you will see us turn up tomorrow in semi-final.
That was a fantastic way to finish, keeping the supporters in suspense right up to the end, but absolutely delighted for you. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow in the semi-finals of Split. Congratulations and good luck there.
Thank you.